So I am starting this project at 8:23 and we will see where we end up. When I do a new cage setup or I'm just adding or changing some things around in the hamsters' cages, I do like to put them in the bathroom with some food and water, wheel, and accessories, so then they are able to not be in the way. They're not going to be stressed out because they're watching me remove things. For Mabel's enclosure, I am removing all of her stuff because I do have to do a bit of a clean down below in her burrows. If you didn't know, she does pee at the bottom, so I do have to go in every once in a while, wreck her very nice burrows so that I am able to clean everything, because I can't just leave pee sitting in the enclosure for months and months and months. It does need to be done. It is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So that is what I am doing in this clip. There are some pretty large pea chunks over in this particular corner. And also this is some of the cardboard tubes that I put below that Mabel has completely destroyed. This was a complete tunnel. As you can see, both of them are just ripped to shreds. Mabel had filled this watch box completely full of bedding, and I was kind of excited that I was doing a cage clean a bit because I could properly put this watch box in a little bit better than I had previously, get it closer to the bottom. I also am adding in one of those NiteAngel halfway cardboard tunnels for Mabel to use in there, and hopefully I'll be able to see her go through there. I also did want to try out some of the NiteAngel aspen shavings, so I'm kind of trying to do a lasagna layer type thing with the aspen shavings and then some of the paper bedding. I couldn't add too much because then it would be a little bit too full. I also had a little struggle moment here trying to figure out how I could put the dig boxes in with the halfway tunnel. I did manage to figure it out, but the halfway tunnel did get a little bit covered with bedding, but that's okay. The aspen shavings are extremely soft. I was really surprised. They're really small shreds. You can't really tell that it is lasagnaed in there, but I did do my best, and I did add a little bit more clean paper bedding for Mabel. Next, I'm using the wavy corner NiteAngel platform to put in the corner here to put the acrylic dig box in. Oh, it's so perfect! Then I'm just adding back most of her accessories. Majority of these are the same. I did want to add this corner hide, but it was just not gonna fit with the chamber hide and everything else, so I had to exclude that from the enclosure. I also am adding in some of the NiteAngel chews. I decided that I wanted to fill one of the dig boxes with the NiteAngel cork bark pieces, and then the NiteAngel aspen and birch chips. And then I filled the corner acrylic dig box with some cork granules, and her little jar there got filled with the aspen and cork substrate. Next, adding in some of the NiteAngel moss. I actually really like this because it's easy to add a pop of color with it, and you can shape it into whatever spot you really want it. And then we are done for Mabel's setup. As you can see, it is slightly different but very similar to the previous setup. That way it's not too stressful on Mabel. Next, we move on to Dipper's enclosure, so he gets his turn in the bathroom to go play. Alright, it's 10:06. I made myself a coffee, so I'm gonna chug this and get this done. Like Mabel's, I'm just taking everything out and sweeping everything up because he is a pretty messy hamster, so I kind of have had to clean everything up first. The chew is chewed. I did have a little bit of a dilemma trying to fit everything I wanted to fit into the enclosure, but I did make it work and I ended up really liking how the enclosure turned out. Next, I'm filling up the dig boxes. So the acrylic one gets the NiteAngel Cocoa Peat substrate, and this is Dipper's favorite substrate, you guys. He loves it so much. The other substrate I added in was the aspen and apple chips, and then little Mabel kind of popped in to say hello. Next, I was adding in another platform in the corner there because I did want to fit that corner hideout somewhere. So I managed to fit it right there. Then I'm just filling up Dipper's cork granules dish, and I did manage to spill this all over the cage. Adding in his discontinued Petco mushroom, his water dish, and can't forget the cork log. This is a staple for every single hamster enclosure. And adding in some of the sprays. It's now 11:04. So Waddles is a bit of a shyer hamster. So he was actually in the enclosure the entire time. I knew exactly where he was hiding. He was hiding in his multi-chamber hideout. He does this. He doesn't really like the ring light, so he will typically hide. But I just made sure to work slow, and when I was digging, I made sure to dig very slow just in case he decided to pop his head out somewhere. But he pretty much stayed in the exact same spot as before. I did put in that corner wavy platform on the side so I could put his little digging dish over there. And I did decide to give Waddles the watch box. I think a lot of people call them. I like to call them peek away hides. But I'm hoping that Waddles will get some use out of it. Waddles also got that bridge hideout from NiteAngel and the kind of corner potty, but I decided to put substrate in that instead of using it as a potty. I think I was dancing right there. So I'm just adding in some of the previous accessories he had in there, as well as that wavy bridge I figured he would really like. I'm not not too happy with the way Waddle's enclosure came out. It's just really hard when he's in the enclosure because I'm very scared I'm going to scare him. And he did decide to pop out and say hello, to which then he was like, oh, nope, not about that life. So for his digging dish in the corner, I used the aspen and cork substrate, and then I filled up that little potty with the cork granules, but this is the larger, chunkier granules. And of course, had to add in some of the new sprays that we got. Waddles absolutely loves sprays. I also added in the new Fuji water dish for Waddles, as well as don't forget to sprinkle in some herbs for foraging. I also did this in the other hamsters' enclosures. And same goes for scatter feeding a bunch of his seed mix all around the enclosure for him to also forage for. And then that is the final setup. Once again, not happy about it. Probably will change it around when I have a time when Waddles can be out of the enclosure, so maybe I'll update you then. I do find the Linnmon enclosure to be a lot harder to set up than my DIY enclosures. I think it's something about the height wise. So it is 11:38 and I am now finished everyone's enclosures. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and I will see you in my next one.